Today on How It's Made Dream Cars, the Bentley Continental GT Speed, a car that combines luxury with turbocharged performance. Although W.O. Bentley founded his company outside of London in 1919, after World War II, it moved to Crewe in Cheshire, England. Among the cars kept on display is a Speed 6, affectionately known as Old Number 2. Built in 1930, it's part of a series of legendary cars that competed in the famous Le Mans race in France. Thanks to its unique racing history, the auction house Christie's has called Old Number 2 the most important vintage car in existence. But the oldest car here is the EXP2. EXP stands for experimental. Unhappy with EXP1, his first attempt at building a car, W.O. Bentley scrapped it, went back to the drawing board, and built this model. It's the oldest surviving Bentley. A 3-liter pre-production model, it was the first to be entered into a race, and also the first to win a race. The Continental GT Speed brings Bentley's great automotive legacy up to date and into the future. The car company has long been known for its use of deluxe materials to support high-end design concepts. The GT Speed continues this tradition both inside and out. Although designers make use of digital design tools to work out their ideas, in the end, they rely on traditional material, clay. A full-scale clay model of a car provides an object that designers can view in the real world. This demonstration model reveals the layers of material involved, from plywood substructure to styrofoam to clay to paint. Some elements of the GT Speed are made in Ireland at Auto Launch, a division of Canadian-based Magna International. Flat sheets of aluminum called blanks will be transformed into fenders and trunk lids. Each sheet goes to an environmentally controlled area where it hangs suspended from clamps that move along an overhead rail system. A team of robots then sprays on a special coating that prepares it to endure the heat of the forming process. The process is called superplastic forming. These gigantic objects are the forming dies made for the most part from cast iron and steel. These dies were developed and engineered at Magna's Canadian Corporate Research and Development Facility. A robotic arm uses vacuum-powered suction cups to grasp the aluminum blanks and place them inside an oven 2 at a time. The oven heats the sheets at a temperature of nearly 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit before transferring them to one of the forming dies. Because it's strong, rust-proof, and lightweight, aluminum is the preferred metal for building high-end cars. But it presents some challenges. Bent too little, aluminum simply snaps back to its original shape. Bent too far, it may crack. Shaping the metal into the curved auto parts requires considerable ingenuity. The machine injects pressurized air, forcing the heated aluminum down onto the die to produce the finished shape. Of course, it's not nearly that simple. Certain elements, like the rate at which the machine injects air pressure into the tool, must be calculated with extreme precision. The end result is a superplastic formed fender, perfectly replicating the shape design. But clearly, some work remains to be done before it's ready. At this stage, the object is called a draw panel. Workers fit the panel onto what's called a trimming fixture. Then they leave the area, allowing a specialized robotic laser to go to work. For safety reasons, the laser works alone, and nobody may enter this closed area while it's operating. Following programmed instructions, the 5-axis gantry robot trims off the unneeded aluminum and cuts out some of the required openings with incredible speed and accuracy. Once the laser finishes trimming the parts, workers place them on another tool for a process called restrike. A technician positions the top and bottom layers of a trunk lid. The top of the forming die descends, reforming certain edge sections and punching out some remaining holes. This process is traditional rather than superplastic forming. Here's a fender before and after restrike. The process adds small but important details to the part. Finally, the parts head to a hand finishing area, where highly trained, skilled craftsmen apply the finishing touches. As they finesse the parts, they also perform thorough quality control inspections. Once the body of the GT Speed has been built, it needs a paint job. Sophisticated robots do most of the work, hitting not just the large surfaces, but also hard-to-reach areas. The Speed gets 5 coats, including a chemical pre-treatment, an electric coating for corrosion protection, a primer, a base coat for color, and a final scratch-resistant clear coat. In between coats, the car bakes in an enormous oven to cure the paint. In all, it takes 110 hours to fully paint a GT Speed. These days, it's rare to see real wood in a car. Highlighting the lavish interior of the Bentley Continental GT Speed is a feature called the entertainment panel. The components are framed by a handcrafted, highly polished wood veneer. Bentley offers 10 different veneers. They come in bundles of 24 leaves, shaved from a single piece of wood. The veneers in a given Bentley always come from the same bundle. A worker carefully flicks the leaves from a bundle, using the swirling knot patterns to align them perfectly. Once they're aligned, he'll chop a tiny bit off the ends to get a clean edge. This step is necessary to prepare the veneers for the next phase in the process. This craftsman opens a set of leaves so that they present a mirror image of each other. He then sticks on a piece of tape to temporarily hold them in place before bringing them to the stitching machine. This device uses a zigzag stitch of adhesive, not thread, to hold the 2 leaves of veneer together. It quickly deposits a thin bead of hot glue in a repeating pattern. The craftsman puts the veneer through twice to ensure a secure joint. This glue stitch prepares the 2 leaves for the next phase of production and is not meant to hold them together permanently. A technician places a set of veneers on the bed of a laser cutting device. The bed has a vacuum feature which sucks the leaves down, holding them in place. The device, which is essentially a CNC machine equipped with a laser, goes to work cutting out a series of shapes. It follows instructions supplied by computer-assisted design software. This work was once done with stamping tools, but manufacturers switched to a laser due to the repeatable precision of its performance. The veneer is less than 1 millimeter thick. The laser's ability to cut the ultra-thin wood without cracking it is another advantage. This craftsman assembles a kit. The kit includes the decorative veneer layered with a thin sheet of glue, then a veneer of pink tulip wood and another layer of glue, followed by a second veneer of tulip wood. He then places the kit on an aluminum substrate. He places the assembled kit onto a machine called a die press. Once all the kits are in position, a safety screen descends, followed by the top half of the die press. The press exerts more than 120 pounds of pressure, while cooking the kit at over 250 degrees Fahrenheit for 5 minutes. The worker gives the resulting laminate a thorough quality control inspection before it can be moved on to the next phase. After a sanding, the part begins a 1.5-hour 5-layer lacquering process. It takes 72 hours for the lacquer job to cure completely. Using an orbital sander, a craftsman works to completely smooth out the surface. He finishes the job by hand, which allows him to sand the beveled openings. Thoroughly inspecting every inch of the wood, he ensures that it's ready for the next step. He then uses a soft mop polishing wheel to apply a finishing wax, giving the veneer a burnished sheen. Every GT Speed is built to order, and each veneer panel has been customized to meet the specifications desired by the car's future owner. Bentley upholsters the complete interior of the GT Speed in leather. Inspectors examine a bull hide and mark it accordingly. They scan the hide. Green marks are for flaws minor enough that the leather can still be used on unseen sections of upholstery. Orange marks are for unusable parts. A CNC cutting machine scores out the pieces. Workers remove the cut leather and spray it with a soapy solution to remove the crayon marks. Next, they'll transfer the pieces to a person called a bundler, who sorts the leather for delivery to the next phase. Here, skilled leather workers apply their trade. There are 7 different zones of leather work. As an example of Bentley's attention to detail, the company chooses to upholster the GT Speed steering wheel with a single piece of leather. This means a craftsman has to create a perfect fit between the material and the wheel. First, he brushes on a special glue. Then, working with great care, he stretches the leather into place. Of course, the glue is not enough to hold the leather firmly in position. Each steering wheel must be flawlessly hand-stitched. The leather workers punch a set of needle-sized holes along either side of the seam using a tool made at this facility. The craftswoman then closes the seam using a sturdy cross-stitch. The wheel only represents a tiny portion of the leather work done here. It takes 12 bull hides to upholster a single GT Speed. The steering wheel, like the rest of the GT Speed, is bespoke, meaning it's custom-made. Customers can choose from a wide range of colors and patterns when placing their order. The Continental GT Speed is more than a sumptuous leather interior and state-of-the-art aluminum body parts. The Speed part comes here with the powertrain, which can wind the coupe up to 205 miles per hour. The Bentley Motors facility in Crewe, England, started during World War II as a secret shadow factory made to build airplane engines for the war effort. Here, the Rolls-Royce company manufactured its legendary Merlin engine, which powered the famous Supermarine Spitfires and Hawker Hurricanes that won the Battle of Britain. Also on display is a model of Bentley's W12 engine, which runs the GT Speed. With 12 cylinders firing, the twin-turbocharged engine can accelerate the car from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.4 seconds, and from 0 to 100 in under 10 seconds. A technician coats a crankshaft with engine oil, while another supplies himself with a piston. Next, they align the crankshaft before installing the piston. Guide rods on the end of the pistons prevent damage to the casing as they pull them through. The casing is only 5 microns larger than the piston itself. Once installed, they bolt the piston onto the shaft. Once again, they align the crankshaft to prepare for the next phase of installation. They've placed a clear cover over the installed pistons to ensure no dust or other contaminants get in. Since it's a W12 engine, there are 12 pistons in total that have to go in. The W in the W12 name refers to the staggered W arrangement of the cylinders. Unlike straight, flat, or V configurations, this arrangement allows for a very compact engine despite the number of cylinders. The result is a 48-valve powerhouse with 616 horsepower and a peak torque of 590 pound-feet above 2,000 RPMs. Top speed, 205 miles per hour. Once they built them, technicians transfer each engine to an area called the hot test facility. Here, they fire it up and run it for a total of 21 minutes to make sure there are no leaks and that the engine is working as it should. Pipes blow air at the engine to cool it, as monitoring equipment makes sure all parameters are met. The turbocharger gets so hot that when the lights go out, it glows in the dark. Even the exhaust pipe burns red hot. Technicians now bring the engine to an area called the main build hall. They lower it onto a tool called a stuff-up table. It already has its gearbox, steering arms, front brake calipers, front exhaust section, and transmission. Next, the workers attach the rear end of the exhaust system, which flares out into dual tailpipes in true sports car fashion. A technician uses a counterbalance wrench to fasten the bolts. The torque required for each bolt has been pre-calculated. Now, the workers bring in the rear brake calipers. They then install the prop shaft. The entire powertrain of the GT Speed is coming together, thanks to careful engineering of the close ratio transmission and an energy recuperation system built into the engine. The car's fuel economy and CO2 emissions have improved 15% over the first generation Speed. With the powertrain fully assembled, it's now time to bring the rest of the car up to GT speed. The GT Speed's turbocharged powertrain has been built. Its body has been manufactured, assembled, and painted, and its plush leather interior fully upholstered. It's now time to bring everything together. Technicians now install the car's extensive wiring. Wires can be stiff and hard to handle. To make these big bundles pliable, manufacturers first heat them. Once the technicians finish installing them, the cables will cool and harden in place. Each car has nearly 8 miles of wiring running through it. Using a specially designed lift, workers install the leather-upholstered dashboard. Like the rest of the car, the dash is built to order. Here we can see the two-tone color scheme chosen by its future owner. Technicians now bring the powertrain and the body together. Manufacturers have a romantic name for this dramatic moment when the two main elements are fused. They call it the marriage. It's at this point the car really becomes a car. The technicians will use 32 carefully placed and perfectly torqued bolts to secure everything together. Although they perform this operation manually, a computer monitors their work, ensuring they don't miss anything. Next, workers begin filling the car with gas, engine oil, brake fluid, transmission fluid, antifreeze, and all the ingredients it needs to run. Thanks in part to the GT Speed's energy recuperation system, it can go 60 miles on 3.8 gallons of gas. Recuperation technology manages the car's use of electricity to maximize efficiency, reducing emissions while increasing the car's range. The front wings now go on, followed by the grille. That distinctive grille, the round headlights and curved wings, are all part of the signature Bentley look that dates back nearly a century. They are subtle design tributes to the Speed's ancestry. These 20-inch 10-spoke alloy wheels are made exclusively for the GT Speed. The car features permanent all-wheel drive. The differential distributes 60% of the torque to the rear wheels and 40% to the front, helping keep the vehicle in position when cornering. The wheels can come to a fast stop thanks to the 16-inch diameter front and 13-inch rear ventilated cast iron brake discs. Working on the convertible model of the GT Speed, technicians bring the windshield to its frame and manually install it, tamping it in place securely. Next, they use a hydraulic lift to help attach this component called a tonneau. The tonneau is a specially designed panel which covers the convertible roof when it's retracted. A technician installs the hand-stitched, leather-upholstered steering wheel. A second worker then mounts the central panel, which bears the famous Bentley Winged Bee logo. They close the hood, checking to make sure the fit is perfect. The GT Speed is fully assembled. This high-tech facility appears ultra-modern, and shows little sign of its dramatic history. But a memorial reminds us that workers building Air Force engines died here during a World War II bombing raid. Today's craftsmen continue the proud manufacturing tradition begun here more than 70 years ago. Each finished GT Speed is carefully driven off the line, ready for delivery to its new owner. Bentley Motors has a specially appointed area it calls the living room. Here, customers may come, relax on the plush furnishings, and browse the literature. Under the benevolent gaze of W.O. Bentley, they can learn about the company and choose the specifications they require. Bentley considers the Continental GT Speed to be its new flagship model. Inspired by the renowned performance of the old Speed Sixes at the 24-hour Le Mans race in the 1930s, this car is made for high velocity. In fact, topping out at 202 miles per hour, the drop-top version is currently the fastest four-seat convertible in the world, and the coupe model is even faster. Every square inch of the car is opulent, from the bespoke leather upholstery to the wood veneers and the aerospace-grade aluminum fenders. In the early days of Bentley, the cars developed a fan following amongst a group of wealthy British motorists who became known as the Bentley Boys. Perhaps the rebirth of the legendary Speed will inspire a new generation of fans.